Today on Inquirer. Rains to persist in parts of the Philippines as Mawar looms outside the Philippine area of responsibility. Philippine Ports Authority suspends sea trips due to Super Typhoon Mawar. Like the Philippines, China also installs buoys in West Philippine Sea in what it calls an act of exercising sovereignty. Philippine installation of buoys not a provocative move according to National Security Advisor Eduardo Año.
Ang sinasabi natin provocation, yung mga nagde-dangerous maneuver, nagle-lesser pointing, yung mga nagpa-blocking sa path ng ating vessels, yung mga naghahabol ng mga fishermen.
And Boston Celtics cruise past Miami Heat in Game 5 to extend their Eastern Conference Finals duel. Good evening. Rains to persist in parts of the Philippines as Super Typhoon Mawar looms outside the Philippine area of responsibility. To give us an update, joining us live is Pag-asa weather forecaster Patrick Del Mundo. Sir Patrick, anong update dito sa ating binabantayang bagyo?
Yes, good evening po Sir Neil at sa ating mga taga-subaybay. Sa kasalukuyan po yung namataan yung sentro ng mata ni Bagyong si Mawar sa may layong 1,725 kilometers sa may silangan ng Central Luzon. May taglay pa rin itong lakas ng hangin na umabot ng 215 kilometers per hour malapit sa gitna at pagbugson na umabot naman ng 265 kilometers per hour. Napatilagpili nito yung lakas ito ng Super Typhoon at sa kasalukuyan ay kumikilos ito pakandu 25 kilometers per hour. Samantalang inaasahan naman natin na maaari itong pumasok ng ating Philippine Area of Responsibility ngayong gabi or mamayang madaling araw. At pagpasok ng ating Philippine Area of Responsibility ay bahagya pa itong magbabago ng direksyon pa west-northwestward at bago pa lumapit sa may bahagi naman ng Batanes, Taiwan area pagdating yan ng araw ng Lunes at ng Martes. At paglapit nito sa may Batanes, Taiwan area ay bagya itong hihina into typhoon category dahil hindi po favorable yung conditions dito sa may karagatan ng sa may silangan ng Batanes dahil medyo malamig po yung ating sea surface temperature sa may area na ito. At bagamat nahihina itong si Bagyong Mawar na pag pumasok ng ating part tatawagin natin sa Bagyong Betty ay magdadala pa rin ito na malalakas ng hangin dito sa may extreme northern or sa may northern Luzon area, gayon din sa ilang bahagi ng Central Luzon pagdating na simula ng araw ng Linggo hanggang sa mga susunod pang mga araw. Gayon din mga pag-ulan mararanasan po dito sa may northern Luzon area. And for the next days, especially by Monday, inaasahan po natin na hatak itong si Bagyong Betty ng southwest surface wind flow na siya namang magpapaulan sa may kanlurang bahagi ng Central Luzon, Southern Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. At inaasahan po natin na malalakas po yung mga pag-ulan na dadalhin nito dahil ma-enhance niya po yung southwest monsoon o yung habagat. Kaya pinaghahanda po yung ating mga kababayan sa banta ng mga pagbaha at pagguho ng lupa sa lahat ng bahagi ng ating bansa.
Sir Patrick, nabanggit mo ulit, pwede ba nating ulitin kung ano yung mga lugar na binabantayan nating maaaring maapektuhan nitong mga pag-ulan at itong hangin na dala ng bagyong ito at kailan natin inaasahan na mararamdaman itong epekto ng bagyong ito?
Yes po Sir Neil, as early as by Sunday, inaasahan po natin na mararamdaman yung epekto nitong bagyo dito sa may northern Luzon area. Gayun din maaari pong mahagip na malalakas na hangin at mga pag-ulan yung ilang bahagi ng Central Luzon. So yung mga areas po ay dito sa may bahagi ng Cagayan Valley, Cordillera, ngayon sa may Ilocos Region at sa may Central Luzon. Samantalang yung mga pag-ulan naman po ay mararanasan sa may kanlurang bahagi ng Central Luzon, particular yung Bataan, Zambales area, gayon din dito sa Metro Manila, Southern Luzon, at sa may bahagi naman ng Palawan, gayon din dito sa may bahagi ng Western section ng Visayas, Western Visayas, at sa may Zamboanga Peninsula.
Sir Patrick, nakaranas na rin tayo ng pag-ulan dito sa Metro Manila at sa mga kalapit na probinsya. Ito ba ay dala na nitong bagyong binabantayan natin ngayon?
So far po, bukod pa po itong weather system, ito pong nakaka-apekto sa atin ngayon ay yung southwesterly surface wind flow at ito po yung nagpapaulan sa ilang bahagi ng ating bansa, especially sa mga nasa kanlurang bahagi ng ating bansa kasama po yung Metro Manila.
Sir Patrick, huling tanong ko na lamang, medyo mahirap kasing maintindihan minsan para sa ating mga manonood, sa ating mga kababayan kapag sinabi natin na super typhoon o may mga pinag-uusapan natin yung maximum sustained winds, gustiness. Itong bagyong ito in particular, ano yung maaari nating maranasan na maiintindihan siguro ng ating mga kababayan. Kapag sinabi natin ganito kalakas ang bagyo, ano yung maaaring epekto nito sa ating mga kababayan?
Para po sa ating mga kababayan, para sa kanilang kaalaman, as long as umabot na po ng typhoon category or severe tropical storm category itong mga bagyo, ay makararanas na po ng malalakas na hangin. Devastating winds po ang mararanasan, maaari pong makapagpatanggal ang mga bubong, at gayon din yung mga light structure ay maaari pong masira at magpatumba ng puno. At gayon din, itong mga pag-ulan naman na hihilahin itong ng super typhoon na ito, ay maaari namang magpabaha at magpaguho ng lupa, especially sa mga bulubundukin lugar at sa mga low-lying areas mga pagbaha.
Maraming salamat, Sir Patrick. That's Pag-asa Weather Forecaster Patrick Del Mundo. President Bongbong Marcos says the local government units will be allowed to lead in the response to the possible effects of Super Typhoon Mawar, with the national government ready to assist. According to the State Weather Bureau, Mawar is anticipated to bring about heavy rains over several parts of the country, as it will also enhance the southwest monsoon. The president says the national government will eventually find out the LGUs' needs so it can respond to their respective situations properly.
We have already warned the LGUs to prepare in case of heavy rains and flooding. So ang aming ginagawa ay we leave it to the LGUs right now to make the call kung ano yung gagawin nila. Pero nandito lang sinasabi namin, the national government is here to assist. We are in constant contact with the local governments para makita natin what is the situation in their place.
According to Marcos, the government has been preparing for the onslaught of Mawar, saying it had a different strategy since the typhoon will also pull the southwest monsoon, which may cause heavy rain even in Visayas and Mindanao.
It's a little different from the usual situation. Kung saan lang dumadaan yung bagyo, yun lang ang inaalala natin. Pero iba itong nangyari dito kasi malakas yung typhoon so humihila siya ng mga weather pattern pumapasok dito sa Pilipinas. So that's what we're looking out for.
In preparation for the onslaught of Super Typhoon Mawar, the Philippine Ports Authority suspends sea trips in several provinces. In separate advisories, the PPA explains this is to give way for preventive maintenance as Mawar approaches the Philippine area of responsibility. The PPA urges the riding public to coordinate with their respective shipping lines regarding their trips. So far, the list of suspended sea trips are currently flashed on the screen. Meanwhile, the 3-day Bacolod Chicken Inasal Festival starting on Friday would go on as scheduled. About 600 Bacolod police officers and other uniformed service units and emergency response teams had been deployed to secure the festival sites. 2 persons died while 3 others were injured on Thursday after lightning struck them separately in General Trias City in Cavite Province. In a report, the Police Region 4A says 3 boys playing kites took shelter under a tree when the rain poured in Barangay Pasong, Camachile. While waiting for the rain to stop, the boys were struck by a bolt of lightning around 7:30 p.m. on Thursday. The victims suffered burn injuries and were brought to General Trias Medicare Hospital. 10-year-old Siam Parangan was declared dead on arrival. The report says 9-year-old John Carlo Mira remained under hospital confinement, while 8-year-old Vince Angelo Angkaya was under home treatment. Meanwhile, in Barangay Santiago, Edison Hachero and gov't were standing on the road around 7:30 p.m. on Thursday when they were hit by lightning, according to police. Hachero died from burn injuries while being taken to the same hospital, while gov't suffered minor injuries and was discharged after treatment. President Bongbong Marcos says that the 2 newly commissioned gunboats would be used to patrol the West Philippine Sea and respond to disasters. John Eric Mendoza has the report.
President Bongbong Marcos Jr. on Friday attended the commissioning ceremony of 2 Israel-made gunboats marking the 125th anniversary of the Philippine Navy. The fast attack interdiction craft platforms BRP Henertinangag and BRP Domingo de Luana have now been commissioned in a ceremony in Navy headquarters in Manila. According to the President, the 2 newly commissioned gunboats would be used to patrol the West Philippine Sea and respond to disasters.
Oh yes, lahat yan ginagamit talaga natin pang patrolya. hindi lamang sa West Philippine Sea, kung hindi dun sa civil defense. Since they have already been commissioned, then talagang ito ay isasama na natin sa inventaryo ng ating mga barko para gagamitin both for defense from external forces and also for civil defense sa pagtulong sa mga disaster na nangyayari dito sa Pilipinas.
Marcos also revealed that his administration has plans to purchase submarines. Marcos noted that a number of countries are offering to manufacture submarines for the Philippines. But for now, Marcos said his administration is gearing its efforts towards bolstering its anti-submarine capabilities.
There is a plan, but it's still being developed. Dahil ang commitment para mag-operate ng submarine is not a small commitment. It is a very large commitment because the training that is involved, the equipment that is involved, and the operational requirements that are involved are quite significant.
The Philippines is an archipelago with one of the world's longest coastlines and territorial disputes with its neighbors. However, it has been left behind in the submarine race with its neighbors in Southeast Asia. Currently, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Singapore already have submarines. For INQUIRER.net, this is John Eric Mendoza.
China defends Beijing's deployment of buoys in the West Philippine Sea just days after Manila installed a similar navigation mark. In a statement, the Chinese embassy in Manila says their deployment of buoys is, quote, an act of exercising its sovereignty in accordance with the law. China insists their installation of buoys is to, quote, ensure the safety of maritime navigation and operations. Earlier on Friday, National Security Advisor Eduardo Año dismisses accusations that the installation of buoys in the West Philippine Sea is a provocative move on the Philippine government's part. Año says the real provocateurs are those who point lasers and those who perform dangerous maneuvers in the West Philippine Sea.
Ang sinasabi natin provocation, yung mga nagde-dangerous maneuver, nagle-laser pointing, yung mga nagpa-blocking sa part ng ating vessels, yung mga naghahabol ng mga fishermen.
It can be recalled that in February, a Chinese Coast Guard vessel illuminated a green light twice toward the Philippine Coast Guard vessel in the West Philippine Sea. On April 29, a Chinese Coast Guard vessel also blocked a PCG vessel that was sailing toward a Yungin shoal in the West Philippine Sea. PCG has installed 5 additional navigational buoys off the Philippine-occupied islands, with China also deploying a buoy vessel a few days later. Despite this, Año says PCG will continue to install buoys in the West Philippine Sea.
Tuloy pa rin yan in accordance to the plan. We are not the aggressor here. We are not the provocateur here. In fact, we are just ensuring that we are following the international rule of law and making sure that we are asserting our sovereignty.
President Bongbong Marcos says he is not keen on imposing a total ban on the deployment of overseas Filipino workers to Kuwait. He is responding to the call of Pangasinan 3rd District Representative Rachel Arenas to totally ban OFW deployment to the Middle Eastern country. According to her, this is due to heinous crimes committed on Filipino migrant workers.
I'm never very comfortable yung nagbaban na gano'n. Dahil parang ang pag-ban, sinasabi mo forever na yan, hindi na pwede. I don't know, yung sometimes overreaction yung ban. Basta ban na lang tayo ng ban, hindi naman tama.
Marcos notes that it was Kuwait that prohibited the deployment of OFWs to their country. The Gulf state has suspended its issuance of new visas to Filipinos due to alleged failure of the Philippines to comply with labor agreements. He says that while the Philippine government is taking Kuwait's decision as it is, it will continue to negotiate and consult with the Middle Eastern nation in the hopes that the situation may change.
At baka sakali, down the road, magbago ang sitwasyon, maibalik ngayon ang ating mga workers. Hopefully down the road, we will continue to work to improve that situation.
The Boston Celtics staved off elimination for the second consecutive game with a win over the Miami Heat in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics extend their season with their 110-97 victory over the Heat. Derek White scored 24 points while Marcus Smart collected 23 points for Boston. Miami's Duncan Robinson made 7 of 10 shots to score 18 points off the bench. Bam Adebayo collected 16 points and 8 rebounds. The Heat never led in the game, but they still hold a 3-2 edge in the best-of-7 series. Boston is halfway to making NBA history. No team has battled back from a 3-0 deficit to win a series. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.